Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham showed exactly why those two are untouchable in the Pistons win over the Brooklyn Nets tonight. We're going to talk about that as well as the Pistons win in just a moment.
Lane, skies a jam. Dynamite dunk and the crowd loves it.
Welcome back to Pistons Intellect. I'm your host, Jack Kelly. You can follow me on Twitter at Jack_Kelly_313. And if you're feeling so kind, please hit that subscribe button and show the channel any support you can in any way. I'd appreciate all the love, as always. Now, as I just mentioned off the top of the show, what a game. The Pistons beat the Brooklyn Nets at home 118-112. And, you know, I try to stay composed in these, but I'm G'd up. I'm excited. I know this season has sucked. I'm not delusional and think that this team's, turning a huge corner now and any of that kind of diluted thought process. But I'm just, that win tonight might have been my favorite game of the season. Just in terms of maybe that or the Portland win on the road. And I think it was because in this game tonight, the Pistons got out to a great start. I believe the score was 22-8 at one point in the first quarter. They probably could have been up by more, the Pistons. But then in the second quarter, they get outscored by the Nets 41-28 and head into the half down 3. And it's just one of those games where you think, similar to that Sacramento Kings game earlier in the season where the Pistons got out to a 20-point lead in the first quarter and then completely faded and lost by 20 points on their home floor. Didn't have the exact same feeling because the Nets aren't as good as the Kings, but, it felt a little bit like that. But to see them come out in the second half, outscore the Nets 64-55 and, finish with 118 points on the board, win by 6 points, and to win in the fashion they did, I was just excited. I love watching it. I think every fan loved watching it. LCA, shout out to the fans in the building. Once the game was sealed with only 20 seconds to go because it came down right to the last minute, those fans were cheering and they were loud. They were loud through the broadcast, and just shout out to them because I think one thing we can take away from this season, we've known this the whole time, but I think just considering the way this team has performed, being 10-52, 28-game losing streak, just a disastrous season. Even though things have been a bit more positive here and there of late, it's a disastrous season no matter which way you look at it. To hear the fans cheer that loud, it just shows you once this team is actually playing for something and winning games in some form of consistent basis, these fans, that arena is going to be packed and is going to be loud every night. And it was just so cool to hear that. And it's why I cannot wait to get to LCA some point in the near future for the first time, because the fans just seem awesome and so passionate. So shout out to the fans. If you were there, drop a comment. Shout out to you and everyone there. But as I mentioned off the top, Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham tonight, I'm going to go through them individually, but they combined for 66 points. Both dropped 30. Both get up close to 20 shots or more. Both get to the free throw line. Combined for 16 of 17 free throws. Hit 10 threes between them. Just everywhere. Just an awesome, that is peak prime. That is what, when we drafted Jaden Ivey, when the Pistons drafted Cade Cunningham, this is what we envisioned. And to see it, we were robbed of it last season, but to see it come to fruition tonight and them just play off each other and just show the different diverse skill sets they have as offensive players and how they can just tear teams apart. Man, you just, I cannot wait to watch this game back, in a couple of hours. I'm watching this entire game back because I need to see these two just pick apart the Nets. I just love that. And I think every fan would have enjoyed that. And I think I'll start with Cade. He finished with 32 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, 1 block, plus 19, plus minus. 10 of 22 from the field, 4 of 8 from deep, 8 of 9 from the stripe. And just like, man, he took over down the stretch. Like, it was just mid-range pull-up, get to the rim, had a huge dunk in transition where, like, it was like semi-transition, kind of just like waited and waited and waited on the break. He thought he was maybe going to throw a lob to Asar, but no, he went all the way and just dunked it. And, like, just an awesome game. Like, last time the Pistons played the Nets, it was during that losing streak. Cade dropped 42 and just, like, took over once again in the fourth, but the Pistons couldn't win that one. So to see him get reward tonight was so awesome. And, like, his turnovers in the second and third quarter were, like, kind of costly, but, you know, ultimately they don't matter too much. Pistons on the whole tonight had 22 turnovers, which is just an enormous number. So for them to win tonight, you know, they kind of shot themselves in the foot time after time after time. But all the way until the very end, there was bizarre turnovers. But, you know, when you come out with the win, that stuff doesn't matter as much. So I'm not going to sit here tonight and tear that apart because, yeah, Cade, post All-Star break, Cade for pretty much this entire season has, like, established himself as one of the true up-and-coming stars of this league. I'm not ready to say, like, the record is still too bad for me to go out and say, like, he's going to be a top 10, top 15 player. But, like, there's no doubt. Like, if there's any doubt in your mind about him being an all-star, like, he's shown this season he's an all-star. He might just need a bit better team around him. Well, clearly he does. But whether he's a number 1 or 2 guy, like, he's an all-star. Like, he just does it all. And, like, the defense comes and goes. Once again, I'm not going to sit here and tear that apart tonight because I think his offensive game and where he's gotten to from an efficiency standpoint, with the context of this team and the season, like, I tweeted out this morning, like, he's averaging 22 points on the season. That's probably gone up a bit tonight, but he's averaging career highs literally everywhere. Mid-range, floater range, long 2 range, corner 3, you know, above the break 3, 3-point overall. The only spot his percentages haven't gone up is at the rim. He's 57% right now. His career high is 58%. So look, that's an area for improvement for Cade. And I think, to be honest, I'm kind of at the point where I don't think he's ever going to be an elite finisher at the rim just because of the lack of athleticism. But I think if he can get to the line, you know, 9 free throws tonight, that offsets that. And if he can continue to develop that mid-range shot and that floater shot, they can continue on an upward trajectory. I don't think that finishing at the rim matters as much. So, like, just complete game from him offensively. And, you know, it's kind of crazy. 32 points, 11 assists. Like, just think about those numbers. They are huge numbers. And numbers, he's put up those multiple times this year. He's had, like, 40 points a couple of times. That's just a monster night. So, huge game from Cade. And then Jaden Ivey, a career-high 34 points. He kind of steadied the ship in that third quarter when things were looking shaky for a little bit. The Pistons end up winning that third quarter 31-24. And I feel like Jaden Ivey's play towards the end of the third and start of the fourth was huge in that. Just draining threes, 6 of 9 from deep, get to the free throw line, similar to Cade, 8 of 8. Didn't do a lot of playmaking, couple of questionable turnovers once again, but yeah. His jumper tonight, he had really good elevation and he followed through. And you could tell great arc on the shot. I think when Jaden's he's not elevating as much and like sort of he's more of a set shot, I think that's when they have the issues because he's relying more on his arms, relying much more on like his form to be absolutely perfect. And I think once he's elevating more, it's just looks so much more in sync and in rhythm. And he was following through tonight and they honestly all looked really good. So he gets rewarded for kind of, you know, he's definitely improved that jump shot and to come into the game and implement those improvements and keep it consistent throughout the whole game, especially when you're playing 39 minutes to continue to get elevation on that jumper. Cool to see him get reward. Hopefully, after a bit of a rough patch shooting, this can, he can go on one of those little hot streaks again where he has 4 or 5 games where he shoots 40% from deep. So excellent game. And then, yeah, like I have had Ivey and Cade, penciled as number 1 and 2 of the core 4. And it's for reasons like tonight. Like, I just think they're so dynamic as a scoring duo. Although it's very close between Ivey and Asar at the 2 and 3 in terms of my rankings, I just think Ivey's much more polished offensively. Yes, Asar is probably the more unique talent, and I'm going to talk about him in a moment. But I think the way Ivey and Cade complement each other, when it all relies on the 3 ball for those two. And defensively, but if we're just talking strictly offensively, it's kind of the 3 ball, because you kind of know Jaden's going to give you anywhere between 17 to 23 points a night every night, just based off his ability to kind of get to the free throw line here and there, knock down a couple of threes, and just, create havoc in transition. And then Cade's always going to give you that 20 to 26, I feel like, consistently, and then have nights like he does tonight. It's all about the 3 ball for them. If they can knock that down, consistently, then man, that's a terrorizing backcourt, and a backcourt I love and want to see succeed so badly in Detroit, because it's just so dynamic, and they can win you games by themselves. So probably enough on those two. Let me know your comments below. In the comments below, your thoughts on their game. I just had so much fun loving that. I'm being ultra full fan mode tonight, but I didn't care. I just love seeing those two, combine for 66 and just take it to the net. So moving on, Asar Thompson, as you can see on the right to your screen, Asar Thompson is 1 of 1. And tonight, these kind of box scores have become regular for him of 14.7 boards, 3 assists, 6 of 12 from the field, 2 of 7 from deep. Wasn't gun shy tonight. But this guy, just the way he moves around the court is ridiculous. He had 3 plays that I can just think off the top of my head where I was just who is this? What is this player? This guy's 6'7". There was a play where in the first half he kind of does this he dribbles in a straight line, and I'm sure someone will know the exact term for this, so correct me, but it's I'm gonna call it it was almost a stutter crossover, and he just jolted to his left while dribbling it on his right and went up for the dunk. I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've seen the play. And he just glides. He doesn't need much of a runway at all, and he just glides and can dunk over anyone with such ease. It's so effortless. And it's almost jarring to watch. So, yeah, by the time you're watching this, I will have posted the clip on the Pistons Intellect Instagram. So go check it out. It was crazy. Then he had this other dunk, which didn't count because unfortunately he shuffled his pivot foot, but he caught the ball above the break, free throw line extended, faked the pass to the corner, defender falls for it, and then he took a step, before he dribbled or something like that. He traveled, but he just threw this dunk where it looked like he was running midair, cocked it behind his head and dunked it. And it's just I don't even know. I just haven't seen that exact type of dunk before. It wasn't a slam dunk, like a dunk competition dunk or anything too wild. But when you just watch it back a few times, just this guy just glides. And then he had that insane putback slam. And I think what I'm loving the most from Asar, and the 2 of 7 from deep, he did take 2 of the threes in particular at kind of crucial points of the game where I was Asar, I think I love that you're confident, and I love that your teammates are trusting you and finding you in the corner. But yeah, I just don't think heat check threes after making 1 are kind of something you should be doing right now. But I absolutely love the confidence, because we've seen firsthand with a guy like Stanley Johnson, who's jumper in their rookie season. If you're not confident, and you don't keep backing yourself when the shots aren't falling, you're probably never going to turn it around because you need that confidence, you need that mindset to push through these like trying times where your mechanics, you're constantly adjusting them. And so I don't want to hate on it too much, but there was a couple of 3-point attempts. It's like, absolutely love the confidence, but maybe let's just dial it back a touch. But I'm loving the freedom he plays with. Like just the way he gets up and down the floor, watching him running in transition when Cade has the ball is just like, even if Cade doesn't pass it to Asar, like I mentioned earlier, like the threat of Asar draws the defender immediately. And even when he's defended on the fast break, you can kind of just throw the ball up and he'll catch it. And he played 43 minutes tonight. And that was because Monty mentioned it in the presser. He was matched with Mikal Bridges, matched minutes, pretty much defended him the entire time. Bridges finishes with 13 points, 4 of 11 shooting, -6, 3 turnovers. So, Asar takes the best defender, pretty much outscores them, outplays them, all facets of the game, locks them down. And then, Dennis Schroeder got off the leash tonight, but he's just, I don't know. I watched him in the World Cup earlier this year or end of last year, and that guy can just go off for 30. So, that's a bit on Cade and Ivey, but I'm not going to get too torn up on that. So, yeah, just wanted to show him some love because I just love watching him play, love watching him play freedom. And, recently I've been enjoying the way Monty's using him and empowering him with bulk minutes. Even Asara tonight ran like a pick and roll with I think it was either with JD or Stu, and Asara pulled up for a mid-range shot, and it's like that's like quite a horrible shot to take, like just when you look at the numbers and where the Pistons are. But yeah, at the same time, like Monty didn't yank him. Monty obviously was okay with that shot, and they've spoken about it. So I enjoy that. Lastly, I just want to shout out James Wiseman. I wouldn't say I've been harsh on him. I'm just not like, I liked the trade last year. I wanted to see how it worked out. I just don't think with the Durant and Stu, I just think the Pistons need a more veteran backup big to help those guys out rather than another young big. And I just don't think Wiseman's the best fit on this team, just with where he's at in his career and where he's trying to go and where this team's trying to go. But tonight, man, like shout out to him. 10 points. Box score doesn't even matter though. Like he just grabbed a number of important rebounds. It says he only had 1 block shot. I swear he had more, but they were timely. Great contest at the rim. And then it felt like he made a pair of and ones when the Nets were coming back. The Nets would get back to 4, and then Wiseman he made a couple of and ones at each time, sort of halted the Nets' momentum and gave the Pistons that buffer. And really good performance from him. And just he's a guy that cops a lot. I give my fair share of criticism towards him. And I think at times with Wiseman, it's not even like call me out if I have, but I don't think I've ever said like he sucks. I think it's been more about the way the teams used him, and more so on the coaching and front office side of things, and bringing him in and continuing to force him to play. But he played really well tonight, rewards Monty Williams' faith in him in 12 minutes, gives you 10 points, 3 boards. So excellent game from him. I think on the whole, Monty's rotation these past 2 games have been better. Those Malachi Flynn minutes to start the 4th and the 3rd were weird. Can someone tell me why? Maybe it's because Ivey had the 4 fouls at the time in the 3rd, so you couldn't bring him back in. But I found that a little bit rogue, just to throw Malachi Flynn in at like an extremely crucial part of the night when he hasn't played. As might have been as well because Marcus Sasser's 6 minutes in the first half, he struggled, but he's coming back from injury. So, yeah. Look, tonight the Pistons pretty much play an 8-man rotation or 9-man. So I can't bash Monty too much on that front. In fact, he pretty much played Cade, Ivey, and Asar 40 minutes or more each. And yeah, he went out, he won the game. Like I spoke about in the previous game, the Pistons came out tonight with intent to win. And these are the games I want to see much more of, and for the remainder of the season, because these are the games that give you hope. You see a vision. You see a star playing bulk minutes on the opposing player's best player. You see Cade and Ivey getting tons of minutes together to figure out how they're going to work at their best. And even Durant tonight, I didn't talk about him much, but he just had a normal Jalen Durant night. And it's kind of crazy to think it's 12 points, 14 boards, 4 assists, a couple of steals. But I think him and Stu did their thing. Nothing too crazy to highlight with them, but they got on the glass. The Pistons out rebound 50-28 to the Nets. So 24 of those coming from Jaden and Stu. So they did their thing there. Just the turnovers are the main thing, but Pistons get away with it and they win tonight. So I think that'll do it. Let me know how you're feeling after that game. If you agree or disagree with anything I've said, anything I've missed, please let me know in the comments below. But go enjoy this win. Go back, watch the replay if you have time. That was a fun game. And once again, just shout out to the LCA fans. I love hearing them love hearing their cheers and seeing them on their feet towards the end of the game, because all the fans that have gone this season deserve to see that. So shout out to all of them. I'll be back. I believe it's Saturday. I'm not sure who the Pistons are playing, but I'll be back to recap that game. But till then, as always, go Pistons.